Hi, my name is Trent Gillaspie, and evidently somebody thinks I am an up-and-coming comedian in Denver, Colorado, but it is my pleasure to be here with you on 12 questions and to be able to expose a little bit of myself, let you know who I am in a serious sense, because from a day-to-day basis, I'm sort of a comedian. This will give you a little bit more insight as to who I am. So first of all, to answer the question, what is my hometown? I was born and raised in Nebraska, just for a year, moved over to Utah where I lived for 6 years, and then moved to Denver back in about 1994 and have lived there since. However, I did go out to school in the Northeast for college, figured out that the Northeast sucked and the people there were nothing, and came back to Colorado, and I reside in Denver currently. With what fictional character do I most identify? I most identify with James Bond, whether it be because I am traveling all over the world, like, for instance, here you see that I am in a Hampton Inn in Abilene, Texas, very similar to James Bond, or the countless amount of mysterious women in my life, namely my fiance, who allows me to call her a different name each day of the week, so it's a different woman, right? And then fast cars, depending on what the speed limit is, and guns. I don't have any guns. In the movie of my life, if I were to cast an actor to play me, I think it would be Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, what's important to note is that if you ask Jake Gyllenhaal the same question, he would coincidentally cast Trent Gillaspie to play him. So I think it's only fair. What work of art speaks to my soul? I think that's funny because my mom always said, "Now, Trent, you're a work of art." So if I'm a work of art, I definitely speak to my own soul. So there's not a whole lot of speaking going on there. It's more of internalization. Maybe my mom said I was always a piece of work. Yeah, I wasn't a work of art. I don't know the answer. A book that I would currently recommend to you is a book that I'm actually writing right now. So it's not something you can read yet, but it's something you'll be able to read soon. It's one of those list books, so it's fairly quick to read, but it is entitled Things You Could Have Done in the Time It Took You to Read This Book by Trent Gillaspie. So it depends on how quick of a reader you are, obviously, but the book on my behalf takes about an hour and a half to read. So it's things you could do in an hour and a half. What song or album is currently in heavy rotation on my iPod? I think this is a pretty particular question because it doesn't allow for me to say any of the books on tape that are books on MP3 that are currently rotating on my iPod. It's not so much rotating because I can't really make it all the way through it, but it is Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, and I guess Harry Potter 7, Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, J.K. Rowling. Either way, I can't. Let's be honest, I can't make it through either of those without falling asleep. So they're on heavy initial play in my iPod. What was the last movie that made me cry? Pretty easy. The Social Network. It was really tough knowing that the Winklevoss twins got screwed pretty badly. That was really tough for me, and so it was a lot of crying. I guess initially. Afterwards, I mean, I understand where Mark Zuckerberg was coming from, and Winklevoss is a really weird last name. So I guess I cried for them too because of their situation and their last names and their twins, and that they didn't get Facebook. Am I a cat person or a dog person? Since there's an or in the statement, I can't choose cat, dog, obviously, which is a clear first choice. In terms of second choice, I'd have to go with dog. I enjoy dogs. Several of my past roommates have been cat-like, so I prefer dogs. What is more important, truth or kindness? To be honest, it's midnight. I'm in Abilene, Texas, at a Hampton Inn. These questions are getting pretty serious. If I had to pick one, I would have to go with truth, because sometimes the truth hurts, but it's better to get that truth out. And if the truth happens to be kind, by all means. I mean, you win. How do I define sin? S-I-N. Well, sin is the abbreviation for sine in the TI-83 calculator when I used to do formulas. Sine is a smooth, repetitive oscillation. Yeah, it's pretty easy. That's how to define sine, or sin. Sin. How do I define virtue? Well, a virtue is a trait or quality that's deemed to be morally excellent and thus is a valued foundation of principle and good moral being. The opposite of virtue is vice, like Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It would have been a completely different game if we would have called it Virtue City. Would have been fun. Design my own headstone. What does it say? What does it look like? Well, I want to be the first person to actually design a headstone what it's meant to be, which would be a picture of my head, just my face, and I think it would say, you know what, I think I would record 5 or 10 quotes. This is well before I pass away. I guess I probably should record these now. But I would record 5 to 10 quotes, and then every time it's like a motion sensor walks in front of my eyes, I would say one of my 5 or 10 most famous or most well-known quotes out of my head. Stone. Who would I like to see answer these 12 questions? I think I would like to see Jake Gyllenhaal, played by Trent Gillaspie, answer these 12 questions. But seriously, I think it would probably be maybe like Jake Gyllenhaal or Matt Damon or Christian Bale. Well, guys, that about does it for me, Trent Gillaspie. Thank you very much for joining me and the cast of 12 questions. I hope that you learned a little bit more about myself. If you did, great. If you didn't, even better, because then you don't have to know any more about me. Other than that, I think it is fantastic that you joined us, and hopefully you get a chance to check out the Big Top Denver, where I will be hosting March 5th with Paul Berlucci. We will be the ringmasters, and we will be emceeing the entire show. So you should definitely check it out. It's going to be great, and hope to see you there. Thanks.